A new report just landed on my desk and I'm here to give you a quick breakdown on its findings. It's called the Crypto Liveability Index and it shows some pretty unexpected stats. For instance, it shows that not Bitcoin, but stablecoins have become the ultimate crypto assets in terms of usability and widespread adoption. In places like Venezuela, Lebanon, Cuba and Russia, stablecoins have become parallel currencies. In Turkey, Pakistan and Iran, they're quietly beating capital controls. This isn't speculation anymore. Crypto has become the survival tool. And that's exactly what the Crypto Liveability Index measures. For many years, the industry obsessed over one metric: who owns the most crypto? Which country has the most crypto users? But the new Crypto Liveability Index flips that script. It asks a far more practical question: can someone realistically build a financial life around cryptocurrency in this country? And when you look at the rankings, the results are nothing like the adoption charts. Switzerland, Singapore, El Salvador, Argentina, and many more are on top of the list. Meanwhile, the United States, one of the world's largest crypto markets, sits on 11th place. And who is at the bottom? Well, let's break it down. Welcome to Crypto Corner, the place for all things crypto. I'm OJ, crypto analyst and investor for over 10 years now. And today we're looking at some curious new stats that give us a perspective on the place of crypto on the world stage. But this time, we're not merely talking adoption. You see, crypto adoption has exploded over the past decade. Millions of people now hold Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, stablecoins, and other digital assets. Institutions have entered the market as well. Governments have begun regulating. Blockchain has evolved far beyond speculative trading. But the Genghis report makes a sharp distinction. Owning crypto as an investment is not the same as living on crypto. To prove this, the index compares raw rails, which is the technical infrastructure like exchanges, cards, banking integration, and comparing that with need-weighted livability, which measures how much people actually need or rely on crypto due to inflation or weak banks or capital controls. And when you compare these two layers, the global picture becomes crystal clear. Now, these are the countries where crypto isn't a hobby, it's a lifeline. Nigeria ranks at number 4. It jumps an astonishing 36 places from number 40 to number 4 due to sharp currency devaluation and massive unbanked population. Nigeria's retail market has bypassed traditional banking entirely, relying on mobile-first, peer-to-peer crypto transactions. Then comes Ukraine at number 3. It climbs 25 places from its infrastructure rank because crypto has become a vital financial lifeline during geopolitical conflict. Then we have El Salvador sitting at number 2. Its raw rails rank is number 20, but legal Bitcoin adoption pushes it up 18 places. By integrating digital assets from the government level down to local merchants, El Salvador has bridged the gap between capability and daily usage. And at number 1, the top spot belongs to Argentina for true crypto livability. Its raw infrastructure is already strong at number 6, but extreme economic necessity pushes it to the top. Hyperinflation and strict limits on purchasing foreign currency have turned crypto into a functional checking account. And I know this firsthand because I spent 6 months of the year in Argentina. People pay for groceries through peer-to-peer stablecoin networks and hedge against daily devaluation. You can exchange stablecoins directly for dollars or for the local peso. And there are plenty of services that offer you really good rates for stablecoins like USDC or USDT. Way better than what the banks are offering you when you want to exchange your dollars for pesos in Argentina. It's also interesting that some of the top regions for raw capability don't necessarily score the highest in livability. Raw capability is the country's technical and legal crypto infrastructure, the strength of its exchanges, the banking integration, also regulations and payment rails before you factor in whether people actually need or use crypto in their daily life. So Switzerland ranks number 1 globally for raw capability. It scores 75 out of 84 on the infrastructure scoreboard. But because its fiat currency is extremely stable and its banking system is nearly perfect, it drops 28 places to number 29 for daily livability. People just don't really need to live on crypto in Switzerland. Even though all of the infrastructure is in place, the United States also ranks number 3 for raw tech rails, but falls 29 places to number 32 when you consider livability. Canada ranks number 2 for raw rails, but experiences the biggest drop among developed nations, down 34 places to number 36. When your local currency is stable and your banks work flawlessly, nobody is rushing to use crypto for your morning coffee. Alright, now let's have a look from 79 countries. Which are the ones at the bottom of the list? Well, at number 76 comes Nepal, number 77 is Ethiopia, 78 is Iraq, and 79, the very last, the bottom of the list, is Algeria. These nations have almost no infrastructure and heavy legal restrictions. Living on crypto is nearly impossible. What crypto livability actually measures? So crypto livability is about practicality, not hype. It evaluates whether people can realistically use crypto in their daily financial lives. That includes a combination of criteria like accessibility, banking integration, taxation, retail, and more. You can see this here on the screen. Together, these factors paint a very realistic picture of what life is actually like for crypto users. The index simplifies the ecosystem into 3 intuitive pillars. First is usability, how easy it is to buy, use, and move crypto. Are exchanges accessible? Is the internet reliable? Are payment services supported? Can users move between crypto and fiat without any friction? Then comes livability. Can crypto realistically support someone's financial life? This includes legal certainty, regulatory transparency or taxes, employment, remote work, freelancing, staking income, and crypto salaries. And then comes adoption. How embedded is crypto in society? Public awareness, business acceptance, media coverage, events, startup ecosystems, NFT communities, Web3 innovation, all of these matter. Investors increasingly recognize that regulation and infrastructure matter more than short-term sentiment. Countries with supportive environments attract startups, venture capital, institutional investment, and developers. Innovation flourishes where regulation is predictable or already in place. And crypto has changed how global professionals earn income. Freelancers, consultants, developers, content creators, traders, entrepreneurs now get paid across the continent. For them, crypto-friendly jurisdictions offer faster payments, lower transaction costs, and easier banking, more flexible financial lives. If you want a balance of strong infrastructure and high day-to-day usability, look at the Philippines at number 7. Its raw rails rank number 22, not great infrastructure, but strong digital payment integration pushes it up 15 places. Then comes Brazil, number 8. The raw capability is number 9, livability is number 8, extremely friendly for remote workers spending crypto locally. But the report also delivers a reality check. The UAE ranks number 10 for capability but drops 17 places to 27 for livability. Singapore is number 15 for rails, but falls 30 places to number 45 for livability. One of the strongest trends in the report is the rise of stablecoins. Stablecoins now power payrolls, institutional settlements, remittances, supplier payments, and treasury management. Consumers benefit from low volatility and low fees, fast settlement, and cheap international transfers. And here's my favorite part in the entire report. Dollar-pegged stablecoins are accessible and actively used in all 79 countries surveyed. No ban has stopped them. The leaders in stablecoins usage aren't tech hubs. They're necessity markets like Venezuela, Lebanon, Cuba, and Russia. In these countries, stablecoins act as parallel currencies. In places with strict capital controls like Turkey and Pakistan or Iran, people quietly move money through stablecoins because governments can't track it. And when it comes to taxation, there's a major warning from the report. Every tax zero in the index is actually a ban, meaning countries like China, Nepal, and Algeria don't tax crypto because they've banned it entirely. But regulation comes with a trade-off. The anonymous fiat to crypto on-ramp is extinct, gone, finished. There is no more anonymity or privacy in crypto. This was the case for the first 10 years. We are now in a highly regulated, highly monitored, and traceable environment. not just in Europe, where regulators force crypto services to send data directly to the tax office, but all over the world, crypto is being traced and your wallets are being monitored all the time. Strict enforcement means KYC is mandatory, regulation provides safety, but it removes anonymity. Alright, let's move on to the countries that are setting the global standards. Several jurisdictions consistently appear among the world's most crypto-friendly environments because they combine strong infrastructure, progressive regulation, and growing adoption. Well, at number 1 for raw rails is Switzerland, the gold standard for infrastructure. It scores 75 out of 84, but with no economic need, it drops 28 places to number 29 for livability. As I mentioned, Argentina is number 1 for livability. Hyperinflation and currency controls make crypto a daily necessity there. Then we have El Salvador, where Bitcoin is a legal tender, which pushes it 18 places above its raw rank. Then we have number 3, Ukraine. Crypto acts as a financial lifeline during conflict. Nigeria jumps 36 places to number 4 due to necessity-driven adoption. So in conclusion, the crypto industry has reached a point where adoption numbers are no longer enough. The next phase of growth will be driven by infrastructure, regulation, accessibility, and real-world usability. Crypto is evolving from speculation into a functional financial ecosystem, and the countries that win won't be the ones with the most holders. They will be the ones where crypto is genuinely livable and used on a daily basis. Across all 79 countries, the data shows that practical utility, not technical wealth, is reshaping the global financial map. High-end infrastructure doesn't create a crypto-first lifestyle. Economic pressure does. If you want to check out the full report for yourself, the link is in the description below. Let me know in the comments, by the way, were you surprised by any of the countries listed here that I mentioned, or in the report after you read it? Drop a comment, let me know, I'm curious to see your answers. Also, if you're not subscribed to this channel, and I see you, I know that more than 50% of you guys watching my videos are not subscribers. Well, all of my content is free, so hit subscribe. And also show your support, leave a like, leave a comment, send this video to someone else who would benefit from watching it. And while you're here, just pick another one, and I'll see you there.